Do you ever feel a quiet ache in your heart? A sense that the wonderful relationship you once had with your children has subtly shifted? Perhaps you feel less involved, your opinions less sought after, or even that your requests are brushed aside. It's a painful reality many of us face as our children grow into adults, building their own lives and families. We've poured our hearts into raising them, offered guidance and unconditional love. And yet, sometimes it feels like a piece of that deep connection, that inherent respect, has slipped away. It's not about them intentionally disrespecting you. Often, it's just the natural, sometimes challenging, evolution of family dynamics. But what if I told you there are powerful, gentle ways to bridge that gap? To subtly encourage a renewed sense of respect and understanding. It's not about demanding it, but about making small, impactful changes in how we interact. In this video, we're going to explore 5 powerful moves that can help you regain that beautiful, mutual respect and strengthen the bonds with your adult children. These aren't quick fixes, but profound shifts that will bring lasting positive change. Watch to the end for something that will surprise you. Now, let's dive into the first powerful move that can truly transform your relationship setting and enforcing healthy boundaries. This might sound a little formal, like something you do in a business meeting. But in the context of family, it's about creating clear, comfortable spaces for everyone, including yourself. Think about it for a moment as parents. We often fall into the habit of being constantly available, always ready to drop everything, offer advice, or step in to help. While this comes from a place of deep love, it can sometimes inadvertently blur the lines of respect. Our children, even as adults, might unconsciously rely on us in ways that don't allow them to fully step into their own autonomy. Or they might come to expect our involvement in areas where they need to make their own decisions. Setting a boundary isn't about pushing your children away. It's about defining what you are and aren't comfortable with, what you are able to give, and what you expect in return, all in a loving way. For instance, if your children frequently call you late at night for non-emergencies, disrupting your sleep, a boundary could be gently stating, "I love hearing from you, but after 9 p.m., I usually start winding down for bed. Could we aim to chat earlier in the evening? Or if it's not urgent, could it wait until morning?" It's delivered calmly, with an explanation, not as a command. Another common scenario might be unannounced visits. While spontaneous visits can be lovely, consistent unannounced appearances, especially if they disrupt your plans or personal time, can feel intrusive. You could say, "It's always wonderful to see you, but sometimes I have plans or need some quiet time. Could you give me a quick call or text before you head over, just so I can make sure I'm available?" This communicates that your time is valuable and you appreciate being considered. The key here is not just setting the boundary, but gently and consistently enforcing it. This doesn't mean being rigid or cold. It means that when a boundary is crossed, you calmly reiterate it without anger or frustration. For example, if you've asked for calls before 9 p.m. and the phone rings at 10 p.m., you might choose to let it go to voicemail and call back in the morning. Or answer and gently remind them, "Oh, it's a bit late. Is everything all right? I was just about to head to bed." This reinforces the boundary through your actions, not just your words. It's about teaching them, kindly, how to treat you by showing them how you expect to be treated. Another important aspect of healthy boundaries is around financial requests or responsibilities. It's natural to want to help our children, especially if they are struggling. But if financial support becomes an expectation rather than a thoughtful request, or if it impacts your own financial well-being, it's time for a boundary. This might be one of the hardest conversations. You could say, "I've always tried to support you, and I want to see you succeed. Right now, my finances are structured for my retirement, and I'm not able to provide financial support in the way I once did. You can offer other forms of support, like advice, help with budgeting, or connecting them with resources. But be clear about what you can and cannot do. This isn't about withholding love. It's about teaching financial independence and preventing resentment from building up on both sides. When you set boundaries, you're not just protecting your own peace and resources. You're also teaching your children valuable lessons about self-reliance, respect for others' needs, and the importance of healthy relationships. It demonstrates that you are an individual with your own needs and limits, not just an endless resource. This, in itself, commands respect. When your children see that you respect yourself enough to set these parameters, they will naturally begin to mirror that respect back to you. Now that we've talked about the power of establishing clear and healthy boundaries, let's explore our next vital move, the art of truly listening. Moving on to our second powerful move, practicing active and empathetic listening. This might sound straightforward, but it's often an area where communication breaks down, and respect can feel like it's eroding. As parents, we're wired to solve problems, to offer advice, to jump in with our experiences and wisdom. For years, our children looked to us for answers, and our guidance was often the final word. But as they become adults, that dynamic shifts. They are no longer seeking a solution provider in the same way. Often, they simply want to be heard, understood, and acknowledged. When we immediately jump to advice, or worse, dismiss their feelings or experiences, it can make them feel unheard, even invalidated. This leads to them sharing less, and our connection, the very foundation of respect, begins to weaken. Active listening means truly hearing what your child is saying, not just waiting for your turn to speak. It means paying attention to their words, their tone, their body language. It's about trying to understand their perspective, even if you don't agree with it. When they're talking, put down your phone, turn off the TV, and give them your full, undivided attention. Make eye contact. Nod occasionally to show you're engaged. When they pause, instead of launching into your own thoughts or a solution, try to reflect back what you've heard. Something like, "So, if I'm understanding correctly, you're feeling really frustrated with your boss because you put in all that extra work and it wasn't acknowledged." This shows them you're listening, you're processing, and you care enough to confirm you've understood. This isn't just about the words, it's about the emotional connection. Empathetic listening takes it a step further. It means trying to imagine yourself in their shoes, feeling what they might be feeling, even if their problem seems small to you, or their reaction seems disproportionate. Their feelings are real to them. Instead of saying, "Oh, that's nothing. Wait until you hear what happened to me." Try, "That sounds really upsetting. It must be difficult to feel that way." You don't have to fix it. You just have to acknowledge their emotional experience. When you listen with empathy, you're sending a powerful message. I value you. I value your thoughts and feelings. You matter to me. This builds a deep sense of trust and connection. Your children will feel respected because you are respecting their inner world. When they feel truly heard and understood by you, they are far more likely to listen to you in return, not out of obligation, but out of a desire for mutual understanding. Consider a common scenario. Your child is telling you about a difficult decision they need to make, perhaps about a career change or moving homes. Our natural instinct is to immediately offer all the reasons why our way is better, or to tell them what they should do based on our life experience. But what if, instead, you listened intently, asked open-ended questions like, "What are the pros and cons you've been thinking about?" Or, "What feels right to you deep down?" And then, when they've finished, you simply say, "That sounds like a really big decision, and it's clear you've put a lot of thought into it. I'm here to listen if you want to talk more, or if you just need to vent." This shifts the dynamic from parent-child where you instruct, to adult-adult where you support. It empowers them to find their own answers. which in turn fosters their confidence and their respect for your belief in their capabilities. This kind of listening, without judgment or immediate solutions, is a profound act of love and respect. It tells your children that you trust them to navigate their own lives, and that you are a safe harbor for their thoughts and feelings, rather than a judge or a constant source of unsolicited advice. This subtle shift in your approach can be incredibly powerful in rebuilding the foundation of mutual respect. Now that we've truly understood the depth of active and empathetic listening, let's explore another crucial step: respecting their autonomy and choices, even when you disagree. Continuing our journey. The third powerful move is truly respecting your children's autonomy and their choices, even when you fundamentally disagree with them. This is perhaps one of the most challenging, yet crucial, shifts we need to make as parents of adult children. For so many years, our role was to guide, protect, and make decisions for them, especially when they were young and couldn't make sound judgments for themselves. We set rules, we offered advice, and often, we believed we knew what was best. But, as they reach adulthood, they are no longer children needing our constant direction. They are independent individuals, charting their own paths, making their own mistakes, and learning their own lessons. Our job now is to transition from director to supportive consultant, a trusted confidant, rather than a commander. When your adult child makes a choice you don't agree with, whether it's a career path, a partner, a parenting style, or a lifestyle decision, it can feel incredibly difficult to hold back. You might see potential pitfalls, or you might genuinely believe there's a better way. Our instinct is to warn, to advise, to try and steer them back to what we perceive as the right path. However, when we do this, even with the best intentions, it can come across as a lack of trust in their judgment, or worse, a dismissal of their intelligence and ability to manage their own lives. This can breed resentment and make them pull away, reducing their willingness to share their lives with you because they anticipate judgment or unsolicited advice. Respecting their autonomy means stepping back and allowing them to live their lives, even if it means watching them make what you perceive to be a mistake. It means trusting that they have the capacity to learn and grow from their experiences, just as you did. This doesn't mean you can't express your feelings or concerns, but the way you express them is vital. Instead of saying, "You're making a terrible mistake by taking that job, you should really reconsider," try saying, "I understand why you're excited about this new job, and I want to support you. I just want to make sure you've considered X, Y, and Z aspects, because they've been important in my experience." Frame it as offering information or a perspective, not as a judgment or a directive. The critical difference is that you then leave the ultimate decision firmly in their hands, without nagging, guilting, or continuous "I told you so" remarks if things don't go as planned. Another common area where autonomy clashes can arise is around their parenting style. If you have grandchildren, it's natural to have strong opinions on how your grandchildren are raised, especially since you raised your own. But your children are the parents now, unless there's a genuine safety concern. Commenting on every little decision, offering unsolicited advice, or undermining their rules can be incredibly damaging to their sense of competence and your relationship. Instead of saying, "You shouldn't let them have that much screen time," or "That's not how we did it when you were little," you could simply appreciate the time you have with your grandchildren and offer help in ways that support your child's parenting. Rather than trying to take over, you might say, "I'm so glad to spend time with the kids. Is there anything I can do to help support your routine while they're here?" This shows respect for their role as parents and fosters cooperation rather than conflict. When you consistently demonstrate that you trust your adult children to make their own choices, to learn from their own experiences, and to forge their own paths, you are giving them one of the greatest gifts: your belief in their capability. This deep trust forms a powerful foundation for respect. They will feel valued, capable, and understood. And paradoxically, They will often become more open to seeking your advice when they truly need it, because they know it comes from a place of love and respect for their independence, not control. This acceptance of their adult status, even if their choices puzzle or concern you, is a profound act of love that will strengthen your bond immensely. Now, let's move on to our fourth powerful move, the humility and strength found in apologizing genuinely when you've made a mistake and letting go of grudges. Our fourth powerful move is deeply impactful. Apologizing genuinely when you've made a mistake and actively letting go of grudges. This might seem simple on the surface, but its power to heal and rebuild respect in family relationships is immense. As parents, we often feel the weight of needing to be the strong, wise, infallible figures for our children. We guided them, taught them right from wrong, and perhaps even believed we always had the answers. This can make it incredibly difficult to admit when we've been wrong, to say I'm sorry without adding an if or a but. Yet, nothing commands respect more than the humility and strength to acknowledge your own imperfections and take responsibility for your actions. Think about a time when you might have been overly critical, offered unsolicited advice that wasn't received well, or perhaps made a promise you couldn't keep. It's easy to dismiss these moments, to think they should understand, or I only meant well. But from your child's perspective, it could have been hurtful, frustrating, or made them feel unheard. A genuine apology means acknowledging the impact of your words or actions, not just your intentions. It sounds like, I'm truly sorry for how my words made you feel. I realized that when I said X, it came across as critical, and that wasn't my intention. I was trying to Y, but I can see now that it wasn't helpful and it hurt you. I'll try to be more mindful. Notice, there's no shifting of blame, no excuses, just a clear acknowledgement of their experience and your role in it. This level of vulnerability and accountability is a hallmark of true maturity and earns profound respect. It teaches your children that it's okay to be imperfect, and that true strength lies in taking responsibility and striving to do better. Equally important is the act of letting go of grudges. Over the years, in any long-term relationship, there are bound to be misunderstandings, disagreements, and moments where feelings were hurt. It's easy for old wounds to fester, to bring up past slights during new arguments, or to harbor silent resentments. When we hold on to grudges, it creates an invisible wall between us and our children. They can sense it, even if it's unspoken, and it prevents genuine connection and closeness. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting what happened or condoning bad behavior. It means choosing to release the emotional burden, to forgive, and to move forward with a renewed focus on the present relationship. This might involve an explicit conversation where you clear the air, or it might be a private decision to consciously let go of the past. For example, perhaps there was a big argument years ago where harsh words were exchanged, and though you've moved on superficially, a tension still lingers. You could initiate a conversation. You know, I've been thinking about that argument we had a few years back. It was difficult, and I regret some of the things I said, did. I just want to say I've let it go, and I hope you have too. I value our relationship too much for old hurts to stand between us. This act of reconciliation, of choosing peace over pride, is incredibly powerful. It demonstrates your commitment to the relationship above all else, and it shows your children that you are capable of growth, forgiveness, and unconditional love. When they see you willing to humble yourself and release old baggage, they will learn to do the same, fostering a healthier, more respectful dynamic for everyone. This vulnerability and willingness to heal past hurts doesn't weaken you. It makes you stronger and more accessible, inviting them to meet you with the same open heart. Now, let's move to our fifth and final powerful move, cultivating your own fulfilling life outside of your children. Finally, our fifth powerful move, and perhaps the one that will surprise you the most, is cultivating your own rich, fulfilling life outside of your children. This might seem counterintuitive to gaining respect, but it is, in fact, one of the most profound ways to encourage it. As parents, especially as we get older, it's easy for our identities to become almost exclusively tied to our role as mother or father. Our lives have revolved around our children for decades, and as they grow independent, an empty nest can sometimes feel like an empty life. We might find ourselves overly focused on their lives, perhaps even subtly relying on them for our social connections or sense of purpose. While their happiness is always important to us, making their lives the sole focus of our own can, ironically, put an undue burden on them and diminish the very respect we seek. When you have a vibrant, engaging life of your own hobbies you pursue with passion, friends you connect with regularly, new interests you explore, volunteer work that gives you purpose, or travels you embark on, you demonstrate several powerful things to your children. First, you show them that you are a complete, interesting individual with your own passions and contributions to the world, beyond just being mom or dad. This independent spirit is inherently admirable. They see you as a person to be respected, not just a historical figure from their childhood or a caregiver whose purpose is to serve their needs. When you are busy and engaged in your own life, your time becomes more valuable, and your children will naturally respect your schedule and your commitments more. They won't take your availability for granted. Consider the contrast: a parent who is constantly waiting by the phone, always available at a moment's notice, perhaps even subtly hinting at loneliness or a lack of personal plans, compared to a parent who is happily immersed in their pottery class, planning a trip with friends, or volunteering at a local charity. Which one do you think commands more respect and intrigue? The latter projects an image of self-sufficiency, joy, and purpose. When your children do connect with you, it will be because they genuinely want to share their news or hear about your adventures, not out of a sense of obligation or guilt. Their calls will shift from, "What are you doing?" to, "Guess what I did today? And what have you been up to?" This mutual sharing creates a more balanced, adult-to-adult dynamic. This isn't about being unavailable or neglecting your family. It's about filling your cup first, ensuring your own well-being and happiness. It means actively seeking out opportunities that bring you joy and fulfillment. Perhaps it's learning a new language, joining a book club, exploring hiking trails, or rekindling an old talent. The energy and contentment that comes from pursuing your own passions are contagious. Your children will see you thriving, living a full life, and being a role model for aging with grace and purpose. They will respect your independence, your resilience, and your ability to create joy for yourself. This ultimately reduces any unspoken pressure on them to be your sole source of happiness or entertainment, freeing up your relationship to be one of pure connection and mutual admiration. When you lead by example, demonstrating a life well lived, full of purpose and passion, your children will not only respect you, but they will also look to you with admiration and even inspiration. So, we've explored 5 powerful moves to help you regain and deepen the respect from your children: setting healthy boundaries, practicing active and empathetic listening, respecting their autonomy and choices, apologizing genuinely and letting go of grudges, and finally, cultivating your own fulfilling life. These aren't just isolated tips. They are interconnected threads that weave together to create a stronger, more respectful, and loving family tapestry. Remember, these shifts take time, patience, and consistency. There will be moments where you slip, where old habits resurface. But the key is to keep coming back to these principles with kindness towards yourself and your children. Small changes, applied consistently, truly make a world of difference. Your relationship with your children is one of the most precious things in your life, and investing in it in these ways will bring immense rewards, not just in terms of respect, but in deeper connection, understanding, and joy for everyone involved. What powerful move resonates most with you? Or what is one small step you feel ready to take today? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. It's wonderful to build this community together. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content designed to help you live your best life at every age. You deserve a life filled with joy, purpose, and harmonious relationships. Live your best life at every age.